Hey guys, this is Jason
This
Douglas.
is Adam MacArthur, voice of Yuji Itadori.
This is Derek Snow, the voice of Shinra Kusakabe.
This is Phil Parsons, voice of Kenny the Ripper Ackerman.
It's Merc Nguyen. You are watching Voice of the Heroes. Take it away, Flea Boy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's your host, the one and only one, Flea Boy Jetson, and you're listening to the #1 anime podcast in the world, Voice of the Heroes. So if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you don't miss any interviews or discussions from your favorite heroes or villains from around the world. And today, heroes and villains, we are shining our spotlight on a very special guest, a guest that has voice acting privileges in this business for over 3 decades and some change, is involved in one of the greatest anime shows of all times, a staple in the biggest anime franchise in the world, well, one of the biggest IPs in the world, playing over 50 characters in Pokemon, including Richie and one of Ash's classic Pokemon, Bulbasaur. That's not all. You might have heard her in Barbie, Life in a Dream House, Sailor Moon, Ronin Kenshi, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Berserk, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, One Piece. She played about 5 characters in Naruto Shippuden alone, including young Kabuto. She even played another 5 in Boruto Next Generation. That is crazy. Biscuit in Hunter x Hunter, My Hero Academia, Young Ben in Seven Deadly Sins, Momo and UT
Urahime. Urahime, that's a tough one.
Urahime. I'm trying to get that one. I knew I was going to butcher it, y'all.
It took me a while to get it.
Young Panda in JJK and so much more. Over 250 titles plus. Let's welcome Tara Sands to the show. How you doing today?
Hello. Wait, I want to go back to how you introduced yourself. Did you say Flea Boy?
Yeah, Flea.
Is that what I'm supposed to call you? Okay. How does I don't have any good nicknames. How does one get a Flea Boy nickname?
Hey, do a lot of streaming.
Okay.
They'll throw something at you. That's what I did. I do a lot of anime streaming. So, it ended up sticking. I do a lot of anime gaming tournaments like that. So that's how I got
All right. Well, I won't steal Flea Boy, but it's pretty good.
Thank you so much. So let's talk about this career that we broke down a little in the intro. I Googled you and I couldn't believe over 50 characters in one of the biggest IPs in the world. How did that come about?
Well, so I should explain to you. So Pokemon was the first anime I ever worked on. I didn't know anything about anime. The people I was working with barely knew anything about what we were doing. We were all kind of learning together. And I know you said earlier we'll talk about my podcast, but I actually didn't understand how all of this came to be. So I made a podcast about the company that brought Pokemon over to the US, which is called 4Kids, and the podcast is 4Kids Flashback. But that's for later. So basically, 4Kids gets this Pokemon property. I don't remember auditioning. I just remember going into my first day of work and it was episode 10 of Pokemon. So it was very early days. They didn't know which characters were recurring yet even. So I played a character named Melanie who, spoke words. She was a young girl who I believe she gives Ash's Pokemon. Could be, don't quote me on that because I'm forgetting exactly how it happens. But I played Melanie. I was like, this is fun, but this show is weird, but okay, cool. And they said, oh, while you're here, hey, try these other characters. This one is called Oddish, and this one is called Bulbasaur. Try to sound like the Japanese of it, but say Bulbasaur and Oddish. And I was like, well, what else do they say? And they were like, that's it. And I was like, well, this is bizarre. Okay, fine, I'll try this. So I do these 2 roles. I'm just like, Oddish. I was like, oh, okay, if that's what you want. And Bulbasaur, we're matching the lip flap. And in Japanese, it's Fushige Dane, but Bulbasaur only says Dane. So that's 2 lip flaps, but we're trying to fit Bulbasaur into that. So sometimes it's just Bulba. It was so weird. And we're all just trying to make it work. Cut to I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever see those people again. They didn't know the gift they had given me with those characters. because Michael Hagney, the director at the time, was like, who knows? There's 150 of these things. I bet it's like 2 an episode, maybe. So he didn't realize that I'd be coming back. Luckily, I got that job that day. If I hadn't finished early and there hadn't been time for me to try those, I might have never worked on it again. But in those old days of Pokemon, once you were there, they wanted to get as much bang for their buck, so they would throw stuff at you. I was what's like in voiceover considered kind of a utility person. Like, I do a lot of scenes where I talk to myself because I'll pitch one up here and pitch one down here. Or the Pokemon, some of the Pokemon sound alike. They're just saying different words. So that's why I played so many characters. It's like, Tara's already here. Let's have her do this, this, and this.
Hey, right place, right time, and
right. Yep.
What a wonderful thing to be a part of. Were you a little surprised when they retired Ash Ketchum from the series? And do you think that Ash will ever return?
I mean, I get why they did it, and I'm sad about it, but I understand. It kind of feels like let people miss him, and then I think we'll see what they decide to do with it. I think they're probably waiting to see what the response is. And they've seemed to make good decisions. So I trust whatever they decide to do. But yes, it is a little heartbreaking that he's not there.
You're currently in the newest edition of Pokemon Horizons. Tell us a little bit about your newest character in the franchise.
Okay, wait, I got to remember her name. Oh, shoot.
Karna?
Karna. I knew it started with a K. She is a Pokeball maker. So it was really fun. Like, she makes all these different Pokeballs. They're really cute. Like, I loved seeing her like what she did, but she's very frustrated and having trouble with it. So some of the other characters help her out. I got to be directed by Lisa Ortiz, who I've known since college. So anytime we get to work together is just like an extra bonus. And it's
awesome.
Fun. Yeah. The show, the way things are done is very different than how we, like I said, we just sort of like were flying by the seat of our pants back then. Now it's a much more finely tuned operation.
What do you think is the biggest difference between, the older gen Pokemon, between the new gen Pokemon, like that's in Pokemon Horizons?
I mean, I can only speak to the voice actor side of it. And this was even true, like when I was working on Journeys. If you watch early episodes, like even, not even that early, like going through the many seasons, the Pokemon themselves really enunciated their names. It would be like Clefairy. Like they wanted kids to remember the names of the Pokemon. Now when we do the voices, they're much more animalistic sounding and not as enunciated. Now we can kind of like growl. Like when I was doing Yamper, it was like Yamper. Like it was almost like I could slur the name a little more. It wasn't so that as a voice actor, that's the biggest difference.
That's actually a big change and really interesting. I'm glad you pointed that out. Who's your favorite Pokemon outside of the ones that you voiced?
Oh, Eevee's so cute.
Eevee?
And or Snorlax. I'd like to cuddle with Snorlax. I like the old school ones. Yeah.
Like, hey, me too. My sons and them, they like the new gen. I'm more old school. I like the old school Pokemon that I came up with. Let's talk a little a bit about Hunter x Hunter now. Your character, Biscuit, and everything else going on with the manga is officially back with a brand new arc. And fans are hoping this leads into another Hunter x Hunter anime. Do you think we'll get one, and would you like to return to the world?
Of course I would like to return. I don't know if Biscuit would even be around. I mean, who knows? Because, that's not up to me, unfortunately. I would return to that show in a heartbeat. I loved working on that show. I hope for all the other actors, who definitely would be involved, that it does get picked up. But the truth is you guys know more than I do. Like, we are the last people to find anything out. When I go to conventions, I didn't, that's where I learned that the manga was back. So, no one from the company's letting me know anything unless I do some research or I see it on Twitter, like things like that pop up and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, my friend actually put me on to Hunter x Hunter through the pandemic and I fell in love with it. I got a question, right? Did you voice Biscuit when she was a girl and when she hulked out?
I did. I did. They did put a special effect on it, but it's my voice.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I did not know that was coming. So Biscuit has an evolved form where she gets big and her voice gets much deeper. But they think they put some reverb and stuff on there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, let's talk about the video side gaming of Hunter x Hunter. The release date for the 2D video game Hunter x Hunter has been delayed from 2024 to 2025. And Game Rant says Biscuit has a unique play style in the game. My question: did you work on the game? And
This is the first I'm hearing any of it.
Oh,
That's
for
how out
real?
of it we are. We are so left out. I mean, first we have to hope that it even gets a dub. You know, there's things that don't even get dubbed. Like, there's a bunch of stuff on Netflix right now that we were like, "Ooh, this thing's coming back," and like it just is only available in Japanese. Some games are only available in the original language. So I don't get my hopes up. I've just learned, like, if I get the email that I have a job, I'm excited. But
I hope you do, because I definitely want to hear the English dialogue between Biscuit and some of the gang that's gonna return in Hunter x Hunter, and I hope it's new dialogue, because
Me
with
too.
a lot of these fighting games are really starting to like really become fan favorites. You got Dragon Ball Spark and Zero that just came out, and a whole bunch of ones. So I hope they definitely bring y'all in for the
Fingers
dub.
crossed. Yeah, it's like I said, like, because again we're behind the Japanese production. When it's an original American production, I tend of things in general, I know much more. But when we're dubbing and we're behind those guys, I know what you know usually. I mean,
Well,
you
let's
think
talk
about
about
simuldubs, we're just like a week or two behind. So
True indeed. That is true, because on Crunchyroll, I gotta wait 2 weeks just to watch my dubs.
and you're
So
annoyed about the 2 weeks. Like,
I am,
imagine, think
I
about
am, I
like
am
other
super
shows that
annoyed.
are like we were months and months, if not years behind in the past. And now it's because you guys need your anime immediately.
Exactly.
We have
And
to do that.
I just hate being spoiled by everybody
Yeah.
on Twitter. You like me
Yeah.
personally, I was watching JJK, which we'll talk about in a second. And it's one of my favorite new animes, but I like to watch it in dub. I watch my anime, I consume
Hmm.
all my content in dub. Sorry, chat, don't roast me for it, but that's just how I am. People
It's a
sub versus dub.
preference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a preference to me. I enjoy it because I have daughters too. So whenever I'm helping them out, you can still hear it. If you're
Right.
watching sub when you're doing something, you gotta make sure all your attention is focused on that. But speaking attention, everybody attention was focused this month on JJK. The manga officially ended, but there's still a lot of story to tell within the anime, and you play a few characters. Momo, young panda,
Urahime. Urahime. I'll say it for you.
Ime, thank you, Ime. And my thing is, both of your characters got Funko Pops, and I seen your excitement on your Instagram page. It was so dope to see. I was so happy for you. How does it
Thank
feel to have two Funko Pops in one of the best new gen animes out?
It's so cool. I just wish that like I had more to sink my teeth into in the show, because this season was kind of a tease. Like, so Urahime, there's a big flashback in season 2, episode 1, and it was really fun. Like, I got to, as Urahime at least, I got to do a lot of stuff, and then she kind of just disappears for a while. So it's having a toy of your character, first of all, that's like every kid's dream. So that's just fun. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is just exciting. But it's about like the work, and I just hope I have a lot to do in the next season. I'm hoping they break it down into more than one season so that, they can really stretch it out a little bit more than, one more season.
Yeah, we had Adam MacArthur here on the show,
Aw.
and he assumed that we'll probably get 2 more seasons and a movie. So I'm hoping that's the case, for all of y'all, man. I really enjoy
Yeah.
JJK. And it's got to be the coolest feeling in the world when your characters get their own Funko Pops. When you're at some of the conventions, which one of your characters are the one you most signed for, where people's like, hey, can you?
Here's like, I could live another 100 years and do a million more characters, and it will always be Bulbasaur. which is fine. It's just funny that it's the character with one word. Like it really nothing else I do is ever gonna top that. And
Hey,
especially,
Bulbasaur for life. You gotta admit he's one of Ash's
yeah,
first three. I think is Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle.
yeah,
Even from
the
the
three
old
starters.
video games.
Yeah,
So that's old school right there.
I'll
Yeah.
take it all day. Listen, I have no complaints. I just think it's really funny that like that's what will forever be the big thing. So that's and also because that appeals to children and adults. So that's what I'm signing the most for, because I'll get a 5-year-old who runs over to my table and I'll get a 40-year-old who runs over to my table. So and again, I always go back to like there is something about the artwork from Pokemon. These characters speak to people in a way that like just is unmatched. Especially that first 150. They just resonate with people. Like I give so much credit to those artists.
Definitely. Now, out of all the shows you've been a part of, which is over almost 300 titles, right? Are there any that you would like to see become a live action?
Ooh, Shaman King, I would like to see.
Oh.
I think that would be pretty cool.
And you play a really important character in that one.
I love that show. And I love that I got to go back and do it again, like 20 years later or whatever it was, and tell the story in a more complete way. Because I know people who watched it were kind of disappointed with the way it ended many years ago. So to go back, like, again, that wasn't a role you could really like sink your teeth into and you felt like affected the story and had relationships that you could build. And unfortunately, we don't get to work together. You know, that's my only wish, is that we could record together. But I loved working. But that would be a cool live action, I think.
No,
I don't
I agree
know.
with you. That's one that threw me off because I didn't think you was going to say that. But that is actually, I want to see it. I definitely think it has potential to be a great live action, and the effects got to be on point.
Well,
as
now
long
that
as
One
Netflix
Piece
doesn't do it. As long as Netflix.
But One Piece, I really enjoyed One Piece. So now I'm like, I want to trust them because I really liked the live action One Piece.
You know what? I agree with you. And the Ronin Kenshi one, the live actions, I enjoyed too.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Okay.
Yeah, I think both of those, the One Piece one actually got me into it because everybody knows I've never seen that One Piece anime, like, because
me either. I don't watch it.
Yeah,
either.
I haven't seen it. You know, I'm trying to work towards it, and I'm glad Netflix is doing a remake so I can follow up.
Yes.
But my first introduction to One Piece with the series was a great one. And, you know, I agree with you. I do have a little more trust in it. Now, you do play a lot of badass women characters, right?
I do. So, they're like tough, but with a heart of like, they're badasses and they're tough, but it's usually because they care. That's how I have to look at it.
All right. So if we did a free-for-all brawl, who would be the first to be eliminated and who would win it all? Your choices are Momo from JJK, Biscuit from Hunter x Hunter, Violet from Tiger and Bunny, Curious from My Hero Academia, what's her name?
Ooh, these are tough. Angel from Ninja Turtles. Oh, so I don't even remember that one. Let's take that out because I don't remember that.
All right. Or Lady Bodane. Is that how you say her name? From
Sailor Moon?
Yeah, from Sailor Moon.
Oh, Queen Badiane. Oh gosh.
Badiane.
Okay, Queen Badiane, let's just kill right away. She was a badass, but she was pure evil. Like most of these characters have a redeeming quality. She had none. She was pure evil. She was like taking kids' candies and putting them in coffins. She's dead. She is dead right away.
All right, so she's the first to be eliminated.
Then I'm going to miss some, but like Curious from My Hero was tough, but she could not beat Toga. She died so fast. She died in one episode.
So now you have Biscuit, you have Momo, and you have Violet. And
I don't remember Violet. Oh, from Tiger and Bunny.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't remember her, so let's kill her. I remember her, like I can picture her artwork, and I
So
just don't remember like what her strengths were.
Uh,
So if I don't remember her strengths, they probably weren't that good. But those last three are tough because, okay, so Momo has the benefit of flying.
mm-hmm.
Biscuit has the power of getting much bigger, and Anna, I just feel like is the real Shaman King. Like I feel like, but the shaman powers are sort of similar to like Momo's witchy powers. I hate to say it, but I feel like Biscuit just being big and powerful might not cut it.
So
I
she's
know,
next to
but she
go.
has Nen. She has the power of Nen, but I don't want her to die. But I think Momo and I keep forgetting all their names.
Anna.
Um,
So you
Momo and Anna are like well matched. Like I think that I don't know who would win, but I'd like to see that. I think Anna would win.
You think Anna will
ultimately.
win? Let's go. Let's
Right?
go.
I love the hypothetical though.
I think she'll definitely win too. Now let's talk about another winning platform. Let's talk about 4Kids. Your new platform, Flashback. Excuse me,
4Kids
Kids
Flashback, yeah.
available on wherever you can stream podcasts at. Make sure y'all check it out. It's a dope podcast hosted by yourself and another gentleman. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I host it with Steve Yurko, who is on a million podcasts. He hosts a bunch of podcasts, but the big one is the One Piece podcast. He is like a One Piece encyclopedia. So 4Kids, like I said, is the company that brought all these things like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, that first production that people have very mixed opinions about, Shaman King, all these shows over to the U.S. and English-speaking countries. And Steve my co-host was a kid who grew up watching those shows and loving them, like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, and then kind of got a little older and was into manga and was watching One Piece and was so angry and frustrated at how 4Kids made lots of changes. So 4Kids became this very controversial company. And while I was working there, I was just doing the voiceover. So I didn't know a lot about the inner workings of it all. I didn't know what changes were being made. And I also knew that, like, when I do these conventions, I know that there's better people to ask these questions of than me. Like, it's the writers and producers and editors and CEOs and things like that who understand what happened there better than I can. So I'm interviewing them. We do talk to the actors because they're fun, but we go behind the scenes. And I like it too because I meet so many younger people who want to work in anime, and in their mind, most of them tell me they want to do voiceover. And there's so many other jobs that you could do to still be working in anime. And that's why I kind of love going behind the scenes, because hopefully it'll inspire somebody to do one of these cool jobs one day. Not that they can't do voiceover, but again, there's a limited, amount of
voice
slots.
editing, voice directing. There's so many different things that you can do that doesn't have to do with being behind the mic, that still gives us the quality that we love. And make sure y'all check out 4kidsflashback.com. They got a lot of stuff on there as well. It's pretty dope. Now let's continue. Let's talk about more voice actors and get your Mount Rushmore of voice actors, people who might have inspired you, mentored you. What do you feel is your Mount Rushmore of voice acting?
Gosh, there's people I've gotten to watch work. I mean, my first day of work on Pokemon was Veronica Taylor was there recording Ash. And that was the first time I even realized that doing little boy voices was even a thing I could maybe do. So she goes right up there. And then so many
That's
people.
Ash Ketchum.
It's Ash Ketchum, man.
Ash
So
Ketchum.
and then there's so many amazing people that I worked with at 4Kids. I just have so much respect for anyone who can voice direct and be in front of the microphone. Someone like I'm gonna name too many for Mount Rushmore. It's gonna get too crowded. But Darren Dunstan or Mark Thompson, who's the man of a million gazillion voices. And then, I've been lucky enough to be in the booth I had to stand next to Mark Hamill and record one day. And
Ooh,
holy
that's my goat.
moly.
That's my goat.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just like, it could just be him up there. It could be 10 of him up on Mount Rushmore. There's just so many. I mean, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, I've gotten to work with in person, and she's fantastic. Sam Riegel. There's too many.
Hey, those is definitely some dope names to even put on there. So shout out to everybody that did make her list. And there's so many that, she's trying to put on there. So, but I love it. I love the list. Are there any ongoing or upcoming projects that you would love to be a part of? Like you might have seen or heard about, and you're like, man, I would love to be on that show.
I mean, my dream is to do anything having to do with South Park. That is my favorite show. They don't cast outside of their little bubble much, but even if I could just say a word on there, I'd be so excited.
I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the shows when I was little, man, they would not let me watch, man, but I thought it was so funny. Every time I watched it, I guess because I used to mimic a lot of things that I seen on TV. They didn't want me.
Yeah, that probably was for the best that you weren't watching it. But now you're allowed. You have permission to watch it now.
And it's still funny as hell, man. My God, the way they mock the world, period, is just hilarious.
Well, it's equal opportunity insults. Like they can get away with it because no one's safe. And I really appreciate that.
Are there any lines from any one of your characters that ever resonated with you on a personal level?
It's funny, like I forget so many of my lines, but lately I've been writing little quotes on Funko Pops. And the one that like every time I write it, recently I'm like, oh, this is so true. Udahime says, why can't both sides just get along? She's just so frustrated, but that's how I feel about the world right now. That's how I feel about, my own personal world and then the bigger world. Like, why can't we just all get along? Like, this is like, let's make the best of all of this. Like, she just, and I get like her frustration as a teacher and seeing these kids and being like, oh, they don't even know how much easier it would be. So that one lately I've been,
that's pretty dope. That's the one you signed mostly on. What's like the number one thing you signed? Is it Bulbasaur? Like, do people want you to sign Bulbasaur?
And then, I mean, like on a Bulbasaur pop, it's like I'll either write like Catch 'em All, or like if I have space, like a Funko Pop. So it's hard to write a lot, but like if I have a bigger thing to write on, I'll write like a little Bulbasaur monologue. So I'll be like Bulbasaur, Sor, Bulbasaur, Sor, Bulbasaur. Like I'll write in like much smaller letters. I'll do that. But
I love it, man. Are there any upcoming projects or conventions you're able to talk about?
Yeah, I'm going over and I'm going to New York Comic Con next week, and I'm going to be with a bunch of the Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon crew, so that will be really fun. Then I go over to the Netherlands for the first time. I'm going to be signing at like some card shops around the Netherlands, and then I go to the London card show. So I'm just really, and then I go to Houston and Dallas.
Love it. Do you like traveling that much?
I like it once I'm there. I don't like the airport.
You don't
Sorry,
like the
airports. It's the getting there that's not, the 10, 11-hour flight is not my favorite.
Oh, man. Yeah. On a flight like that, what keeps you occupied? What do you watch?
I edit the podcast.
Oh, you edit the podcast? That's not bad.
I just started doing that, and I'm just someone who needs to feel productive, and it makes the time go faster. Because even if I'm watching a great show, it's still like, oh my God, like I'm checking the time every couple, like I'm like, oh my God, it's only 3 minutes since I looked at the time before. but editing the podcast definitely has helped me get through. But I'm like, okay, I can't spend 10 hours doing that. So now I have to figure out what trashy TV to download.
What's on tarasands' watch list?
Well, not gonna lie, I'm watching some very bad stuff, and I'm watching the new season of Love Is Blind.
Oh,
so
my wife got me
embarrassing.
watching that, man. I'm watching it too. Don't
Okay,
you just
good.
watch
Okay,
the
good.
new 3 episodes that came out.
I'm so
Did
hooked.
you see one of the dudes was on?
Don't
Facebook?
don't tell me. I'm only on episode 4. Was it a
Oh
spoiler?
no, it doesn't got nothing to do with the show.
Okay.
One of the dudes got kids and they looking for him, and he went live on, and he's live on the show doing the show.
Stupid move. Well, I mean, I hope they have a lovely reunion, but like if you're trying to avoid paying child support, you don't go on a television show, dummy.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Who
some
knows?
of them
He
are
might
so
still
dumb.
be in a relationship.
Oh man. Yeah. So no, but like I want to Agatha All Along might be my download. I want to watch
fire.
that. Yeah,
it's
I've
been
heard
really
that's
good. It's one
Yeah,
of
I'm excited.
Disney Plus's best Marvel projects outside of Loki and WandaVision. It's
I usually need someone sitting with me to explain like all the history and the lore when I'm watching those shows, but that one I think I can handle by myself.
No, it's a pretty standalone show, so you'll be all right. And it's really good. It Halloween is right around the corner, so the theme for it is good. Okay, that's what's up. Anything else on your watch list?
I have a lot of things about the Menendez brothers.
Oh, that's on Netflix too,
I
right?
am not proud of my watch list right now. Well, like Only Murders in the Building I'm watching. Some stuff that has some quality, but some of it is just pure nonsense.
Hey, sometimes it's just entertainment. It's what entertains us at the time. Well, heroes and villains, thank y'all so much for coming through. We're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for coming through. Let people know where they can find you at.
I'm on all social media nonsense as at tarasands VO.
Thank you so much, Tara.
Thank
for
you.
coming
This
through.
was fun.
Heroes, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if nobody told you so, just know your boy love you. Love yourself. Pass that love on and love others. And until next time, we're out of here.
Sing it with me.